take 4
Or
Tech Talk Live. You know that I will do anything, and obviously Lauren will too, to be patient, to come back on and always continue these. So I apologize. I don't know if you guys heard the big thunder that we had and the massive rain that hit all of a sudden, but I think it took out my internet. And so I greatly, greatly apologize to Lauren and to everybody that was watching.
we have thunderstorms here all the time. It happens to us too. So I get
Oh
it.
my goodness. And you know what? I love to like sit out there and listen to it and stuff, but at night I'm not one that can sleep with thunderstorms. Like it keeps me completely awake. And that's how last night was as well.
Wow. I love the stormy season here. I love it. But it happens in the afternoon mostly for us. So we try to schedule our Facebook Lives like early in the day because of the thunderstorms. Because we'll like, and it's so hard because I'll be working on like graphics or boxes or something, or I'm doing like graphic design or video editing. And it's like all of a sudden lightning strikes and the power goes out. And we're like, no, my sister bought me some type of thing that like, you plug the computer in so that if the power goes out, it goes on like a backup generator so you don't lose everything. But
Oh gosh.
it's tough.
I know what we do, but it's worth it. It's still worth it. It can be frustrating sometimes. So thank you so much. And hopefully, I know this might run us a little over on time. So do you have time available? Or do you want me to stop at this?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so you guys, thank you so much for sticking around and coming back on. I know that some of you might not be able to find us and you'll watch this back on replay and we'll get them edited to where they're together again. But you were sharing some great information about what products you choose to bring into your store and how you market them and stuff like that. And whew, so let's get back to that.
Yes. So what questions do you have?
Okay, well, let's start with, let's see here. So I connected my phone so that I can be back over here on the side. I was going to go back to see if there was any questions on here. I know a lot of people could relate to your type of schooling and understanding the type of education that was out there, and that we have to go and seek ongoing education, even though we've gotten our license and stuff like that. And so I always tell people the best thing to do is kind of narrow down what they want to specialize in.
Right.
And then once they know what they want to specialize in, get with the companies. All the companies these days have their own educators. And so if you link up with them, so for instance, if you guys want to get into the nail art side of it, you already have the shape structures, you're not having any issues with the nails, then obviously Lauren is where you want to go. And you've been able to build up your own academy now. Plus you travel to do education, and sometimes your education is completely free. You still have that passion of giving it freely. And so I know we were talking about how you choose the different products, and I think you got it out there on that last video. So we'll just continue on from there. So when it comes to the education side, what inspired you to open up? I know that your goal was to have your academy, but the curriculum that you have and how you do, like, I love that you help people set up for success with the portfolio. You help set them up and understand every step of the way of the ongoing education. And so how did you create your curriculum of what you want to teach? And then for that year, how do you choose what topics you want to travel with?
Right. We have at Wildflowers a few different kinds of education. We have our facility here local, which is in Southwest Florida, so like bottom left of Florida. And here locally, we teach everything. We teach acrylic, we teach hard gel. Of course, we teach our art classes. We teach e-file, shape and structure, like very basic stuff. And those classes here locally are our most popular classes. And I just wrote the curriculum myself because I found that that's something I love doing. I love writing curriculum, presenting it to a group of students, and then stepping back and saying, like, where did they get it? Where did they not get it? What could I do better to illustrate this? How can I teach this better, etc. Stuff like that. So a lot of times locally, what I do when I write a new class, hang on a second. When I do a new class, what I do is I will a lot of times call the school, and I'll say to the school, the local nail school that does licensing, I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this class. You know, for art classes, I think we were charging maybe like $160 for like a half day class. We do them for $20. So I say to the students, come to this class. It's great to like guinea pig it on nail students because they know nothing. And I feel like as a teacher, I can't assume that people know what everything means. You could have a nail tech that's done nails for 20 years that's been so out of the loop just behind her table working that she's not up to speed on stuff. So just because you've done nails for 20 years really doesn't mean anything. You might have somebody who just got their license that's been doing nails without a license in their kitchen or wherever for 10 years that knows a ton. So it's like you never know. So starting with students is a great place to start. So I'll hold the class, charge them like $20, and I work out all of my kinks. Kind of back and forth and refine the class before I'll then take it out to professionals. So that's what happens here at our headquarters. We also, of course, have our big week-long Master Artist Week where we do all of our art classes like bam in 1 week so people can come get it done if that's what they want. I have my road classes. So for those classes, I'm usually doing the most popular like road classes, which are Portfolio Builder, which is like our smorgasbord of nails. And the sculptor build's been really popular this year. So that's a lot of shape and structure and very basic, like how to build the foundation. Because, you know, it's funny the way different companies like say different things, you know, like they were like dogging on people who taught nail art because they're like, oh, you can't put nail art on a lumpy nail. And it's like, of course, that's 100% true. And I am really trying my hardest to be just as strong in both the foundation category of teaching shape and structure and the importance of that as I am the art category. But how we develop the curriculum, like for the art classes, I develop most of that just by sitting around and trying new weird things. Sometimes we get our staff involved. It's really fun. I've done a lot of stuff for like CND with their designs, and it's neat because I create a design for CND. They pay me for the design. It becomes their design, and then they use it however they see fit. So we do some stuff like that here with some local nail artists, you know, just here and there. But for the most part, it's mostly stuff that I designed for the art curriculum. From there, it gets taken, we sort of categorize it by what skill it is and plug it into different classes. And then as trends emerge, we rotate through and we do, you know, different stuff like that. So it's the way that I settled on my class, because like I was having a great conversation with Erin Brunhouse about this, who has like a master's degree in education. She's from Canada. She's awesome. And she was saying people learn in 7 different ways. And we were going through all the different ways. And that's something that I just instinctively have discovered through trying to teach people. It's like one time I was in a class and I was so frustrated trying to teach stamping that I literally had to take the stamper and boink it off the lady's forehead because I couldn't, she just could not like get to boink the stamper. I'm like, boink, boink, like Tigger, doing, doing, you know, making sound effects. I'm like jumping like a rabbit. I'm showing her. Like, it was like nothing. I was like, you know, you meet people and you're like, what do I have to do to get this through the person's head? And so I was like, boink, boink. And I took it. I was like this. And I went doink off her forehead. And no joke, she got it. And she was so thrilled and so excited. And I did it in a very playful way. Like, I don't want you to think I go like smacking people in my classes.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it's just, you get to know the people in your class and you get to know their personalities and how playful. Some of them are very playful. Some of them don't want you hovering because it freaks them out. So when I teach classes, at the end of the day, my goal is there's so much hype. This whole industry is just like hype, 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 hype. The ads, the stuff that companies put out, it's like hype, hype, hype. You go to a show, it's like hype, 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 hype everywhere. What I want is when I teach a class, when all the hype is gone and that person goes home, I want them to have the confidence to be able to do the skill on their clients when they get home. And I'm like, I don't understand trying to do like can learn stuff. I'm like, you can do that on YouTube all day long for free. So the focus of our education is always for that person to do it themselves with their own hands and make sure that they can get it themselves and lock it in before they leave class. And that's always my goal, because all that hype dies and goes away, and then they're home. And if they go to just some hype class, like they get home and they're like, oh my God, I can't even do this. So same with our products. We always have videos, how to use the product right on the product page on our website, because I don't ever want nail techs to purchase products without knowing how to use them. That's just stupid. I mean, it's really stupid. You should purchase the product, master it, make money with it. That's the goal, is to go make money with the skills you learned in the class. So that is the central idea when I'm formulating curriculum and when I'm teaching a class. Like, I want people to get it. I want them to be confident when they leave the class.
Yeah, so true. And you know what? We go to these shows and you go from booth to booth to booth to booth, and every one of them is going to have a little bit different technique or their tip, their trick, different brush or whatever. And then you get home and then you're like, well, wait, did I learn this with this product? And it is hard to decipher that. And what's great about companies like yours is, like you said, being able to go to the website, you get to still have that connection. These are people that still we want to educate you the proper way so that you will continue to use our products. And so therefore we openly give that to you. We don't just throw you out there and say, oh, well, you have the product. That's it. You made the sale. I'm good. And so I always tell people that once they specialize in what they want, they need to make sure they get with a company who can do the continuing part of it and not just throw you out there and then they're never available or they don't speak your language, so that you can get the ongoing education for it. It's so frustrating. And that's big.
We're trying to cover all of our bases. So like I have a YouTube channel. Every Thursday I post a free art video on YouTube, right? That's on the Wildflowers main YouTube channel. We've also started a channel called Nail Students, where we're doing more simplified, like really baby, easy things on that channel. So we've got a video every going on that channel. We have the Nail Students Instagram. It's nail _ and then students, if you haven't checked it out. But every single day on that one, there's a 4 square, which is like a step-by-step in 4, phases. But then if you swipe on Instagram, the next one is the how-to video. And it's like a 1-minute how-to video on the product. So we've got that going on the nail student side. And then with Wildflowers, besides the free weekly one on Thursdays, I periodically do lives. But in addition to that, we started stepping up above that and doing what we've called the No-Show Nail Academy. And that's a chunk of time that fits like into your no-show when you're all like PO'd and like having a moment. It's like, okay, but do something constructive with your time. So these lessons are like maybe $12 to $18, and they're like maybe a half hour, and it's way more in-depth education, for people who need that. We feedback, and then I'm starting to do some larger courses, like we have our sculptor build course on, which is a large course. So we give people enough education, like professionals using the product. Like, here's an instructional video on our website. Now, if you want to see like maybe 1 or 2 other ways to use it, jump over to our YouTube channel where we've used it on some of our art techniques. But if you want to dive in deep and really like maximize everything you can do with this product, you either want to come to one of the in-person classes, or you want to go to one of the No-Show Nail Academy classes where you can really dive deep. And I feel like it's a very fair thing to offer the education, like to give people enough knowledge to know, like, I like this product, I like this technique, I don't like this technique, I'm frustrated. That gives them the choice to say, do I want to pay for more education for this, like maybe one stroke, because I suck at one stroke, but I'm determined to master it. So I'll pay, $18 to learn how to master the one stroke rose on the No-Show Nail Academy, versus like, I don't want people to buy a course and then be like, oh, I hate this. I want them to get enough to be able to function with it, but then to master it is like a whole nother level of education. So we're trying to cover like all the bases so that if you end up with our product in hand, especially nail students, you have enough information to use the product, You have enough resources to know and have all your questions answered. But then above that, if you want to sculpt crazy stilettos out of it, so getting crazy, then that's a class that you can pay for, you know.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. It's a lot. Like it's like an octopus. I feel like it's a big octopus with so many different arms. We're doing that to really try to cover the whole spectrum of every type of customer we may encounter, you know.
It's been amazing. Well, and then you're doing more advanced where you started your own competition team. I mean, this is an international competition team. So tell us a little bit more about that.
That is like, it's so cool. It's so
It's like your baby right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. So, okay, I started competing obviously back like in NTNA, and then I was on Nailed It. I've done like a lot of submitting competitions was sort of my thing. It's funny because there's different types of competitions in the competition world. So you have like the arena competitions where like it's very serious and you go sit down and you do your pink and whites and all of that. Well, I got pulled over from into judging because of all the art competitions that I had won. They pulled me into judging at these competitions that have sort of everything going on at them, whether it's just the pink and whites all the way to like fantasy nail art. So I started getting into judging, and I realized that as a judge, I wanted more education about judging. And the only person that I really knew, besides picking people's brains, like I've picked Elaine Watson's brain, and I picked like some different judges' brains because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be a judge and not know what I'm doing. Or I don't, like, people work so hard on this stuff. I don't want to screw it up by being a bad judge, right? So Lisa Comfort was somebody who has like an International Nail Judges Association, and her objective is to really educate judges and teach judges how to judge properly. So I was like, yes. I was like, when is the next one? I will be there. Like, I don't care what it costs. I don't care where I have to go. Like, this is what I want. So I flew to Argentina to take the course on becoming an INJA judge and becoming trained to judge, which was like probably what I encourage everybody to take it, even if you don't want to judge, because it really opens you up to understanding how this stuff is supposed to be judged, like the criteria you have to understand in depth, all the little like loopholes, things like that. I mean, for a gel polish competition, you're not putting base coat on, duh, because like you're not trying to get the stuff to stay on and you're trying to go fast. So like skipping step like base coat, or when you're in a competition and the clock is winding down, the undersides of the nails being clean is worth 10 points versus you getting top coat on one finger is going to be worth 2 points. So leave the top coat off of one finger and clean the nails really fast with your 2 minutes left, because you're going to pick up 10 points as opposed to picking up 2 points for having a super shiny pinky nail. So like all of like it's a whole different, it's like when you learn nails in school, your mind is set in one direction. Then when you sit down to do them on people, you're like, holy crap, because everything completely changes and rewires. And when you're competing, the same thing happens. You have to think differently when you're competing. And it's, you can't think like you're doing nails to make like pretty nails on people that are going to be happy. You're going for a whole different set of criteria. So anyway, I dove in headfirst, became an INJA judge. I've judged for all of the competitions. I've judged for Nail Olympia, I've judged for Nail Pro, and now I've judged in the INJA competitions. And it's something that I love, and the education that I've found within there has really given me the ability to be an even better teacher. So I said, we have to bring this to the United. Let's do just an all-encompassing competition class where we can highlight next top nail artists, we can highlight INJA, Nail Pro, Nail Olympia, all of them. I'm not being like partial, like let's just, anybody who wants to compete in any capacity, let's cover it all. And so that's what we did. It was awesome. We had Allie Baker came as like our guest artist to do, you know, all the like cool, because she's, you know, like the champion of the world. She's awesome. We did Skype sessions with Alex Fox, who's in charge of Nail Olympia, Lisa Comfort, who's in charge of INJA, Carla Collier, who's in charge of Nail Pro Comps, Beth Livesday, who's like, so we had all of these people contributing. We did an in-person competition. We did like curtain judging. We did where they had to make videos and pictures. So we covered everything in this class. And I'm excited. I think it's going to become an every year type of class. But from that, the girls were like, we want to compete now. And I was like, okay. So we started Team Wildflowers, and I tease because I'm like, we're like the Mighty Ducks. We're like cool run-ins, you know, like we're just all sort of there learning as we go, like having the time of our lives and really trying to have fun while we do it, not taking ourselves too seriously. Because, you know, there's always things that go wrong. And we're just, so our first big trip is to Argentina in 2 weeks as a team. So it's going to be really exciting to do that. And we have people submitting that aren't physically going, and then we have people physically going too. And so I'm judging, but I'm only judging like curtain judging. So I'll be judging stuff I haven't seen. And then from there, I'm going to Italy and judging in Italy. I'm judging like Nail NTNA, I think this weekend in Orlando, and another one in Canada. So it's so fun.
Oh
Like
my
competing
gosh.
is so great because you are really competing against yourself and you're expanding your skill set. Even NTNA, I mean, it forced me out of my box. So I'm not competitive. I probably could be like for dumb, silly things, like, you know, with my family or my sister, like when we're just being silly. But to be seriously competitive, that's not, I feel like that's not a good reason to compete in this industry. Like a good reason to compete is because um, you're trying to up your skills and you're trying to reach a higher level for yourself. And I feel like that's the reason you should compete. And when you compete for that reason, you always win. You always
Yeah,
win every time. So
absolutely.
that's my
Yeah.
spiel competitions.
I love it. And you're so passionate about it. You can tell you just get the energy to go with it. And every time that I get to talk to you, whether it's about your past and the passion that you know, are still ongoing with that, the education side of it and traveling, and then the judging side of it. What's interesting though, is that you've overcome so many fears of your own along the way. Like you said, you do not like to travel at all. You're a homebody. And every time you travel and you're internationally travel, you're overcoming another fear. You're just making yourself do it. And it's for those right reasons. And so even if you have a fear, which I just taught inspire your desire, and part in there, I have this whole thing about what fear is, but what fear really is. And so I'll post it into our group again so that you guys can see it. Because with fear, you have the anxiety, you have that feeling, you have like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But once you face it and you're there, that same feeling is no longer the anxiety. It's actually like excitement, and you feel accomplished, and then you're ready to do it again. It doesn't mean that you don't have the fear every single time, because you do, but every single time you're going to say, I'm not going to let this obstacle hold me back. So I love that you've shared that openly and said, yes, I have anxiety, and yes, this is what it does, but I still do it. Yeah.
I do. I
And
do. I mean, it's interesting learning how to deal with it, learning how to like, you know, everybody, and it's so fun for me to talk to other people about it, because I find that a lot of people deal with anxiety. Like I've had people in my classes that were literally like having a panic attack that were able to say to me like, I'm having a panic attack right now. And I totally get them. And I'm like, hey, whatever you need to do right now, don't let me hold you back. Like if you need to step up, if you need to just run home because that's what you've got to do, like I'll talk to you, we'll figure out how to get the rest of the info to you. But yeah, everybody deals with like anxiety and panic attacks differently. And yeah, it's something that I definitely struggle with a lot. And I feel like every time I travel, I'm like, I'm going to experiment with Benadryl today. And I'm like, I'm going to try to just pop 2 Benadryl for this flight and just get myself real sleepy and see, you know, if this will help me. Or what I found actually really helps me when I get on an airplane if I start having a panic attack. And it's not because I'm claustrophobic. It's because I get crazy thoughts in my brain, like just crazy things. Like, what if I have to go to the bathroom and like the beverage cart is there and I have to like climb over seats because like they're loading or I'm like, no, like, and they're like, and then you get up to go to the bathroom and the seatbelt sign's on and the flight attendant's like, again, I repeat, everybody stay seated. And you're like, oh, sorry, like, so Anyway, just dealing with the stress of traveling is sometimes like just too much for me, and I still force myself to do it because it's like I know that on the other side of that is people that are excited. They're excited to come to classes and they're excited, and I know that it's worth the battle that I have to fight sometimes to get places, and sometimes I get on a plane and I'm like, hey, and I'm totally fine. I think it just depends on my inner stress level. And I exercise every day. Like everybody always wants to try to fix me and they're like, oh, try this or do this exercise, like try this. What works best for me that I found, and maybe it'll help someone else, is when I get on a plane and I start having a panic attack, I put on my hoodie, I put on my earbuds, and I start humming. I'm a worship leader at church, and so like I songs in Spanish, English, whatever. Sometimes I put on music and sometimes I don't, but I just start humming songs that I know. And I think what it does is it regulates your breathing somehow. And suddenly, like, I just calm down enough to where I can shut myself down. Like, I just want to shut down is what I want to do. And then I fall asleep. And then I wake up 2 hours later and I'm like, okay, like, please God, let this be over.
Yeah.
It usually is, and I'm fine after that. But yeah, traveling with like panic attacks and anxiety is no joke. And I applaud anybody who does it. I know it's not easy to do. Not, but
Yeah. But like you said, just pushing through, you find your zone, which is, a little bit more of the mindfulness part of it, and then make your way, go through it. And, a lot of times I have dealt with so many techs that have taken my workshops or I've taught them and they've never worked on a client before. And actually, we just dealt with that at nail camp. The Rustana, who was one of the people that you've mentored and educated and brought a part of your team, did the same thing. The girl that won at nail camp had never even polished a nail on a client before, and she won. But you got to get past the anxiety to get where you want to be. And so sometimes you have to surround yourself with those like-minded people that understand where you're coming from and don't negate your feelings. These are real, true, physical, emotional feelings. And so, if you have to find somebody like Lauren to connect with, obviously she's going to say, well, this is what works for me. And then, try to figure that out. But oh my goodness. Yeah.
And when you have that personal victory of like getting through a situation that you don't think you can get through. So like when I went out to California for NTNA and I was able to fly out there and fly back. I mean, we had crazy stuff. Like we had a dog sitter. We have like a rescue dog who's got issues. The rescue dog bit the dog sitter in the face. She had to go to the hospital and get stitches. So I'm like bawling my eyes. I mean, it was like the craziest stuff was happening in addition to me just already being stressed out. So it was like dealing with that. But it's like every time you have that victory, like I remember the first time I put nail polish on a lady in the salon, she picked out a darn pearlescent polish, some OPI pearlescent color. And you stroke 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 and you're like, it just never looks right. My hand was shaking, right? That was such a big milestone for me to get through that. So fast forward like 5 years, right? I'm in a hotel room working on Jennifer Lopez, right? And I am as cool as a cucumber. And I'm laughing in my brain because I'm having like this flashback of me and the pearlescent polish lady. And I'm literally, as I'm doing her nails, just mentally reflecting like, how far have I come that I'm able to walk in a room and work on Jennifer Lopez and my hands aren't even, like for the first time, and my hands are not even shaking, and I'm just thinking about like the pearlescent polished lady, it's just some regular lady getting a $17 manicure and me like, ah. And now, and it's like, wow, when you can really sit back and reflect on how far you've come, it's just so amazing, like the journey that we're all on. It's just really, really cool.
So true. And, like you said, the octopus earlier, I call it the tree. There's so many different avenues that we can take, I've been a salon tech for many years and then the education side of it. And so whatever it is that you want to specialize in, just try it. Like what you said, give yourself the 2 years and get all the education you can on it and go for it and try it. And you'll realize, like you said, the doors that open along the way for you, if it's meant to be for you, that branch will develop and continue to grow and blossom. And then new branches will come off of that. If it's not, don't fight the struggle. Hold back, restructure it, figure out what is missing, that this path is not easy, and then, continue on with it.
Yeah.
You've explained it so well in our take one of Tech Talk today. So I don't want to end this, but I know that we've been on for quite some time, but one of the things that's unique about your business too is that you've brought in your family. And so you've talked about, well, we've seen the lives with you and your sister, your parents, help box and ship things out. How do you manage the time for your family, all of the travel that you do and working with them and all of that?
It's always a struggle. I'm in a situation now where I have I want to say she's 17, but she's not. She acts like she's 17. She probably won't be watching her. I have a 22-year-old. So she can like drive her own car and has her own life. She's living under our roof at the moment. But anyway, so I've got her and my husband and a dog. And so it's pretty easy for me to get away and travel for the time being. But even, seeing my parents, they live like an hour north of here. And yeah, like we were coming home from nail camp and I was like, I need to stop and see my mom and dad. Just because like, I was like, I don't know how long it's been. So I just want to go like hug my parents. And the girl, local Allie was with me and she was like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Because yeah, my dad told me like, I want to say 2 years ago, he was like, this is the time of your life where you should go 100 miles an hour. And she's like, you're young and you can do it. So he's like, if you get the opportunity to travel and go see places and go do this stuff, like go and take advantage of it as much as you possibly can while you're this age, while you're young, while the business is doing good, because he's like, it doesn't always stay like that. And he's like, you can slow down. That really freed me a lot because I feel guilty sometimes. Like I sit back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, do I spend enough time with my family? Like, do I see my parents enough? I think about those things and it bothers me. I think like everybody does that to some degree,
Yes.
but it's like I have to purposefully schedule time for stuff. And my dad just got like he's renting some house in Tennessee in the wilderness and was like, here, we're going to be here for 3 weeks. Try to get up here. And so it's like, yeah, I have to open my calendar. I have to literally put something on the calendar and I have to commit to doing that type of stuff. So I'm taking my sister with me to Argentina and Italy. And so that's going to be a blast for us because although I'm going to be doing like a lot of business stuff while I'm there, I'm looking forward to just spending time with my sister. Even just the airplane ride, as dumb as that is, I mean, that's a long couple of airplane rides because I think it's like, I want to say it's like 10 hours from Florida to Argentina direct. And then, well, we've got like a 2-hour drive to Miami that will be fun. And then we've got the 10-hour flight, but then Miami, Italy, or Argentina to Italy is, I think, like 14 or 16 hours or something.
Oh my
So
God.
we got ourselves some good seats and we're like, you know what, if we're going to do this, let's enjoy it. And let's, have fun. So we've got some fun days scheduled in between the two. I'm in Italy, so that'll be like so fun. And I've got some time scheduled with my family, at the timeshare when they get back. And it's part of it sucks, but I know, like my dad said, it's one of those things where those opportunities aren't always going to be there. So just really praying about which ones to take advantage of. And you can't say yes to everything either. And that's really hard because I know that there's people that really want me to be there and really want to take classes. But the online education part has really eased that up for me. So if I, for some reason, like say I get pregnant or something crazy and I just like can't travel because, I can't like pop 10 Benadryl and try to knock myself out if I'm pregnant. Like if something happens at that point, I'll reassess and I'll probably be doing a ton of online education, still trying to stay connected with everyone. So
Yeah, yeah. And that's actually what I had to do. My medical kind of held me back from being able to travel. And so I thought, how can I still get out there and do what I want to do? And so I started the online. And what I realized this year is that my power of my voice for inspiration was what I focused on. So I kind of pulled away a little bit from education because I have enough courses already online. I'm just going to renew them and make them I don't know, always new, I guess. Something
right.
different,
Yeah.
I'll up the game a little bit. But I needed to do something that was soul searching for me. And, my kids are off to college. We're now foster parents. And this was my time, like what you said. I love what your dad said about running 100 miles an hour. So this was my time to go. But I thought it wasn't based on education. My time to go right now is based off of my voice of telling people that they need. If you got into this career for a reason, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to specialize in it? How are you going to make it you? Do not say the people down the street are your competitor. Rise above them, and then how to do it. And so I've been really able to use my voice this year. And it's amazing, even the keynote speaker opportunities, motivational speaker opportunities. And I've always done a small level, but I never, just like you, I had too much anxiety to do this. And now the flow is there, and I'm excited and emotional and just raw about it. And so I love being able to follow with what is right at the time and what feels good. And like you said, it's not always going to be there. I'm not always going to be in this mindset. And then you can refocus on something else. So we can make this career and turn it into whatever we want, even if it's way outside the box and you think it's not going to fit in. It will. You just have to have your plan. And so you've been able to do that so many times when you're in your business and your side of it, of like, think outside of the box. I'm going to create this, and you do it. I mean, all the way through fruition, where other people are like, I told you yesterday, I want to ride your rainbow. And it's exactly that. You have set this new path for all of us. And even if you're a veteran like I am and been in the industry for many years, you're making it new again. You're making it, I don't know, electric again. And so thank you so much for, continuing on your dream and inspiring the rest of us and being outside of the box and being unique, but being truly rawly you and not trying to fit in with everybody else. That is where I think you set everything apart from anybody else.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Funny, Tammy Taylor is somebody who's really she's mentored me quite a bit, and every time I see her, she seems to have something to tell me, and it's always just the littlest, tiniest thing that becomes so impactful in my life. And we were at a point as a company where we had some people who had worked for us who had left and stolen stuff from us. And it was like, I think every company goes through that, where they've got people that, that type of stuff happens and you're like, oh my gosh, and you freak out. And Tammy Taylor was like, she's like, I leave everything all over my desk for the whole world to see, because she's like, you know why? There's a ton of people who say, I'm going to start a company and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But she said, it's only the tiniest sliver of people that actually have the persistence and the passion to see that all the way through. And she's like, I learned that when our company was very young, because we had people leave. They stole a bunch of stuff. They stole a bunch of information. We're trying to mess us up. And she's like, but now she's like, nobody that's ever done that to me as a company has ever been able to, because they don't have the passion and the drive and the resourcefulness to do it. And so for me, that was something that was awesome that she told me, because we were at a point where we were a little bit freaking out. We have all these upcoming things, how do we keep things a secret? Blah, blah, blah. And now it's you know what? Who cares? I love that idea much better. Being you know what? Who cares? Are they really going to take it and do anything with it? No. Have they taken it and done anything with it? No. So it's whatever. Such a cool, Tammy Taylor is so cool. I love the words of wisdom she always offers me. She's a cool chick.
Oh, absolutely. Another person that's been in the industry for many years and proves her worth year after year after year. Amy Becker is the same way. Jan Arnold, obviously. So many of these other people. And right now, I'm working with Light Elegance, and so being able to be on the chemist side of the industry, not just the education side, is phenomenal. And that's where I'm writing doing that right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been out
So,
to their headquarters, and Jim McConnell and his team out there, they're awesome. Like, I really like them a lot. So
yeah.
for our products, we source from all types of manufacturers. So I've worked with Jim on some stuff. We have a chemist in Canada that we work with. So we've got like different chemists and different companies from over, because when we're sourcing, we're just literally trying to find the best quality that we can find. So, but yeah, I love Light Elegance. They're cool people. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, and obviously what you're doing is right. Everything that you put out seems to be a big hit. As soon as you advertise or let the secret out of the box, as per se, or even when you put it in your subscription box and everything, it just seems to everything you touch is what we see is turns into success. Behind the scenes, you never know what's going on. You might be back there having anxiety, panic attack, but what you portray out there for the rest of it is not that. You always seem cool, calm, and collected, and so it just proves again, though, that you're following your passion, and despite the hiccups in the road that might come, you say, okay, I accept that. Now I'm going to go back over that, and we're going to get this right. And that's real, and that's what inspires the rest of us, that in our careers or in our personal life or whatever it might be, we can persevere over that, and you're that inspiration. So I keep looking at comments. I don't really see any questions. I just see a lot of like people who completely understand what you mean with anxiety. They love your product. But one of them on here, Scarlett Center, said that she wanted to get a hold of some of your products, and Scarlett's over in the UK. And so do you have, are you going to open up to distributorships, or just keep it through educators that they can get it, or part of your travels?
Well, what we're working on right now is to be able to put our products in the UK. We have to have all of our products up to the standards of the European Union. Even though the UK is like, it's a messy process, but basically in Europe in general, they have a different set of standards than we have in the US. So in order for us to go into a legit distributor, which if we do it, we would prefer to do it legit, right? We have to have all 350 of our SKUs in perfect order to do so. So in the meantime, my sister has negotiated some really killer shipping rates for our international customers. So we really have the lowest possible shipping rates that we can offer. They're still going to have to pay customs when it gets to the border. No, I can't lie and say that it's a gift or a present to market under $20, because if we get busted doing that, we won't be allowed to ship to the UK for anybody anymore, which would really be stupid. So, but yeah, you will have to pay the stupid customs tax, and I'm sorry about that. That's your country that makes that rule. All the countries have those rules, but even when you do it through a distributor, they have to pay the same tax. So it gets rolled into the price that you would be paying in the UK, because people are like, oh, I want to get it from a distributor because it's cheaper. And it's like, well, actually, they pay that same tax. They just roll it into the price that you pay. So it gets paid one way or the other. That being said, it's something in our future, but for now, feel free to enjoy our very inexpensive shipping rates to the UK, to all over the world, Canada, everywhere. We ship worldwide. So we're really, my sister works so hard on negotiating shipping rates, and we try to have something for everyone. So yeah, but wildflowersnails.com is where the adventure begins.
Perfect. And that's what we're going to do, is in the comments, we're going to include all of these, because I didn't even know about the Instagram that you had for students and stuff like that. So we're going to include all of your links and get them all in one place. And obviously, I'm sure all of this is available on your website as well.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Well, Lauren, I know that we had some tough technical difficulties, and I thank you for sticking around with us and all of that. You have been an inspiration for me for many, many years. And now more than ever, knowing more about your history of where you've become, who you are, and where you're headed, and that your heart is still with the students, with getting people the proper education and doing it openly. And like I said, even though there's a lot of times we need to pay for education, we need to take it serious. And obviously the educator needs compensated for all the time and effort and products that they put out there. But you still offer so much for free. And so you guys take advantage of this, because what Lauren's teaching you, she is the type of YouTube and the Instagram that you want to follow. She is the one that's going to share it openly and be the open book, and then still be approachable outside of that, where you can message her and say, hey, this is what we're, I need troubleshooting with this happened. And I just love that personality of you, that you have that. It's a strength that not everybody has. So you just have this, I don't know, all encompassing, part of you that I'm attracted to as well. So thank you so much for sharing your story, for your time, your knowledge, and being our inspiration and all of that. I appreciate you so very much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I love that you're doing this. I love that you're doing this. Thing's awesome that you have so many different people on from the different companies to share what they know. And I'm excited to share it. And hopefully more and more people will, be joining your Tech Talks and, jump on board with it, because it's really cool. So, and I look forward to seeing you soon at different events. So.
Yeah, we're going to have to coordinate our schedules again. I know both of us are still trying to figure out how we're going to work out this Idaho thing. So we'll kind of see about that. But obviously your schedule's full, my schedule's full, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll just keep everybody posted.
So hard to coordinate all that stuff, trying our hardest. So.
Yes, exactly. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming on Tech Talk Live. Sorry about the part 1, 2, 3, and 4. But we'll get them connected together, and so that you can continue to watch them. We'll get all Lauren's information put in the comments. And then if you go to the events section of Tech Talk Worldwide, this is where I post all of the upcoming events, any nail tutorials, coffee talks that we do, and all of that. If you click going, it will translate it into your time, send you a reminder the day before and 1 hour before, supposedly. Usually it works, but sometimes people are like, it didn't send me a notification. I'm not quite sure. That might be a Facebook thing, but it usually does work. And so we encourage you to go to the events, click on going on to everything that you want to see. Next Friday, you'll see that I'm coming on with Tracy Vincent. And so I'm really excited to bring Tracy on, another great inspiration throughout these years. So thanks for supporting Tech Talk Live. Thanks for joining in and always being fun with our special guests as well. And likewise, if you have any questions and you're watching this on replay, you might have to tag Lauren or I's name so that we see it. It will send us a notification. If not, you can private message us as well, and then we can get you directed to however we can answer your question. So thanks again, Lauren, for being our special guest. Say hi to your sister.
Oh, yes, I will.
All right. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks.